Right, welcome to breathing. I thought it was important to make this video because we're going to be working through a number of breathing exercises that if I haven't laid the foundation with a little bit of an explanation as to why we're doing this in the first place, what we're actually looking to achieve, then truthfully, I know you're just not really going to do it and you're not going to see the value or the importance of how we create ribcage expansion, how we improve our intra-abdominal pressure in order to produce force and to absorb force. And that's really all we're trying to do. We're trying to give you a platform to be as efficient as possible, whether that be to reduce pain or whether that be to simply produce more force. Now, breathing is all about ribcage expansion. We can breathe into many places. Our lungs are absolutely massive. It allows us to breathe into our stomach, into our chest, up into our shoulders, and critically into our back. We need to start seeing the ribcage, that surrounding protective structure, as something that expands in 360 degrees, not just forward and back. Now, it's not just the ribcage that's expanding. When the rib cage expands, everything that's attached onto the rib cage lengthens. Now, already if we think about that, if we think about muscles that are short and tight and they're pulling on the rib cage, while it's logical to think that if they're short and tight, it's going to restrict our ability to create expansion, it's going to restrict our ability to breathe efficiently. Now, when it comes to force absorption and force production, we need muscles that are agile and adaptive, that are able to react to the stimulus and the load that's placed on it. And they're only going to be able to do that if they have an ability to lengthen and to shorten. Now, if you're watching this video, it's probably because you have a bit of an issue with producing force through the foot. Maybe that's a lack of an ability to engage at the hip, or you've been dealing with lower back and hip pain. Now, as the foundation of rehab or the foundation of progression, we need to help you to be able to create length through your lower back muscles, to shorten your core muscles, or we'll just call them your ab muscles, and to create expansion through your rib cage. Now that way, we're going to help to use your deep pelvic floor stabilizers and your diaphragm to just create this rock solid foundation to then allow the muscles of your hip, which we need to start viewing as the engine to actually produce force. Now, quite often, we've maybe got away with things being the other way around. The hip is, I'm just going to say, underactive, or it's not performing as efficiently as it should be. It's not absorbing force efficiently, and it's not producing force back down into the ground efficiently. And something has to take that load. It's basic biomechanics. It's one of the first things you learn in physics class when you're a teenager. Kinetic energy needs to go somewhere. It's either moving or it's being stored as potential energy. Now, when we absorb load through the foot, it travels up the kinetic chain, ideally up to the hip, where those muscles lengthen, they take that energy, they potentiate it, and then they release it back down the lower limb into the ground, and that propels us forward. Now, as that's happening, our lower back muscles are engaging and relaxing just to create stability in response to that. However, if your hip isn't functioning hugely efficiently, your lower back has no other option than to engage and to create its own stability. Now, sometimes we get away with this for a long time. We don't even necessarily realize that we're doing it until we get injured. And then we have to identify and we have to relearn. So these movements are going to help you to create ribcage expansion, to shorten the core, to lengthen the lower back, to help you to create intra-abdominal pressure, to use that as a platform to absorb force, and to produce force. Look forward to catching up with you in the next module.